Hey, thanks for tuning in. Today I sat down with Tyler, who owns Tbone Active. What once was a CrossFit gym is now just a gym, but they're still working hard over there. We discuss what life was like growing up for him and what having active parents transpired into what you see today. He is a father, a husband, and running his own business, and he's doing it really, really well right now. So stay tuned for the entire story. A special shout out to our sponsor, Maximus Nutrition. If you are looking to boost your workout, whether that be, toning up or adding in that bulk, they can help you out with all the shakes, all the creatine, and all the protein, and so much more. You can find them over on Sunset Drive and Knickerbocker. Be sure to hit them up. Hello. Welcome back to Everything and the Gym. Now, typically I give you guys homework at the end of the episode, but I'm going to tell you now, please drop us a comment on this episode if you watched and let us know you're here. Also, special shout out to our sponsors, Training from the Ground Up, Crusaders Forge, Orange Theory Fitness, and Maximus Nutrition with all the smoothies. Now, I have a special guest for you guys today. What is your name?
I'm Tyler Tomerlin.
And how old are you?
36.
36. Do you feel old?
I'm getting closer to 40 than I am 30, so someone said that to me the other day, and it was kind of like, oh,
ouch.
That one cut a little deeper.
Yeah. What do you do?
I own a fitness gym. We just run classes. For about 7 years, we were CrossFit, and now we're just it's Tbone Active, and we just dropped the CrossFit name, but still run the fitness classes. So
yeah, and is that your only job?
Oh, I kind of dabble in a bunch of other things, nutrition. I do some for OptiFit nutrition with macros, and then I also work with Juice Plus, which is fruits and vegetables in a capsule. Mm-hmm. And then I dabble in some real estate stuff too, just flipping houses and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the dad. Full-time pretty much. So I feel like that's the hardest one of them all.
Oh,
so
being a parent changes day to day. It's different.
Gosh. Yeah. And as they get older, sometimes they get easier and then they get harder again, and it's always changing. Yeah. So
you have two, correct?
I've got two. I've got a almost 5-year-old and then a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old. So
Yeah, I have a 7-year-old, and I'm right there with you. Yeah. I feel like it's like baby stage. You're like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? And then it gets a little better, and then toddler, and it's not better. And then it gets a little better, and then it's like different. Yeah,
well, and that's what now I look back, and I'm like, oh my gosh, when they were a baby, it was so much easier. They couldn't move, Once they start walking, I'm like, it's a whole new ball game at that point. So,
all right, so let's hop into you a little bit. What was growing up like for you?
Oh, it was easy for me. I mean, I was very, very blessed. Had a great family growing up. I feel like my parents raised me somewhat right. I mean, I did steer off a path or two, but for the most part, I was super blessed. It sounds cliche, but like a picture-perfect family, and so I was very, very lucky growing up.
Were you active growing up?
I was. I played in all the sports and gymnastics when I was young, and soccer, and all these memories of me being really, really good at all these sports. And then I look back and see some videos of me, and I'm like, I was terrible. But at least in my head, I was great. So that's all that matters, right?
Yeah. Were your parents active?
They were. Yeah. I mean, my dad played, a 6 foot and under basketball league, softball, things like that. My mom always was doing, at that time, it was like aerobics, and, she took me with her to all the fitness classes, I guess, that were in her work, I guess.
Yeah.
But young memories of that. So, but yeah, they were pretty active as well.
Do you think it benefited you as a child growing up and like the life you live now? Do you think it benefited you that your parents were active?
Yeah, 100%. I think anything that our parents do molds us and shapes us into who we end up being eventually. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and that's part of why I have my kids doing being as active as possible, and I want them seeing me be as active as possible also.
Yeah, so it goes full circle.
Yeah, it does for sure.
You're one of the first ones that I've had on this season that has talked about their parents being active and how it's like rippled into like who you are today.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just kind of dive into it. I feel like that's a big part of why I do what I do today. When I was probably 15 years old, my mom changed our entire lifestyle, got us into Juice Plus, which is just fruits and vegetables in a capsule form. Now they have it in a gummy form as well for kids. But whenever she got into the Juice Plus, she learned about it, and then she started kind of exploring and seeing how we could change our lifestyle. And she threw out all the Pop-Tarts. She threw out all the processed foods. She changed her pancake recipe, which was devastating for about 2 or 3 months. It was awful. I mean, didn't want anything to do with her pancakes for a while. But she finally perfected it and just made a healthier version of pancakes. It wasn't just the out-of-a-box pancakes, which there's nothing wrong with for some people. But she just made them healthier, and it just completely changed how I perceived how life should be lived. And I think it got me into a healthy state of mind and, okay, how can I be healthier? And I think from that point on, it just kind of slowly trickled into, okay, I want to be in the health and wellness industry. Mm-hmm. And I think that's kind of what led me from when I was 15, what led me into now what I do today. So.
Yeah. You mentioned it just now. So what is Juice Plus?
So it is 17, 35 there's different colors, right? So the purple is the berry blend, the green is the vegetable blend, the red is the fruit blend, and then they have an omega as well, which is orange. But it's just 35 servings of fruits and vegetables, which they just condense down. They take all the juice out of it, condense it into a powder form, and then they put it into a capsule. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a great way to it's a great way to get our fruits and vegetables in without having to eat raw fruits and vegetables. Yeah. And most of the time when we do eat our raw fruits and vegetables, we cook them, right? Or vegetables anyways. Mm-hmm. We'll cook them, and then we cook a lot of the nutrients out of them. So eating them raw is the best way. So I think the doctors say you're supposed to eat 9 to 13 servings of raw fruits and vegetables a day, and this is 17 to 35 servings in a day. So you can't eat too many fruits and vegetables. Yeah. So, and it's just food. It's all it is. It's not an actual supplement at all. It's whole food nutrition.
Do you guys get sick often?
Ever since we got into daycare, yes. Yeah. but I used to say when I was, as I was growing up, I got strep throat twice a year, every year, like clockwork. Yeah. And it seems like maybe a year after we got onto Juice Plus when I was younger, I felt like I never got it again until I got into college. And then I'd be like, Mom, I'm not feeling good, not good at all. And she'd be like, well, have you been taking your Juice Plus? And I'm like, oh, yeah, that might have something to do with it. Yeah. I'd gone, 3 weeks without taking it. And it's not something that's just like a cure. It's preventative medicine, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of waiting until we get sick to take something, I'm taking it to prevent myself from getting sick or prevent, hopefully, cancer in the future and other things like that. So
are there ever times where you stop taking it, like you forget or you're just so busy?
In college.
Okay.
But
not since then?
Now if I miss a day or if I go on vacation and I forget it, I'm like, I feel bad that I forgot it. But, it's like 2 days at the most. Yeah. But now it's religious. I take it every single day. Yeah. At night, I take all my pills, and I take double what I'm supposed to. But there's a funny story of a lady called in one time, called Poison Control, and said, my 2-year-old, whatever, just ate all these gummies, ate the whole bag of it. And so the Poison Control on the other line said, okay, list off all the ingredients. It was a green bag, I guess. Broccoli, kale, spinach, just listing off all these vegetables. And the lady on the Poison Control just started laughing. And the lady said, what? She goes, those are just vegetables. She goes, she might be going to the bathroom a lot, but she's going to be just fine. So that's what's great about it. It's literally just whole food nutrition. So
we could probably all stand to use it.
Absolutely, yeah. So I've been taking it since I was 15, so 21 years now. And I won't go without it. So my kids have been on it since before birth because I had my wife taking it. That was her prenatal vitamins. She didn't have to take any extra prenatal vitamins. Our doctor was all good with that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And now my kid eats the gummies like they're going out of style.
Yeah.
That's like in part of his lunch every day.
How crazy to think that, like, back when we were like kids, like, this kind of like stuff wasn't around.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it really was, you were eating that much fruit and vegetables.
Well, you're supposed to be.
You're
supposed to be. Yeah, because the thing is, I mean, most people don't. I mean,
Yeah.
most people don't eat 9 to 13 servings of raw fruits and vegetables every day.
We live in such a fast world. It's hard to.
Especially, yeah, now that fast food has kind of become such a precursor to our daily lives. And
hopefully that cycles out over the next few years.
I hope so.
I don't know what it would take to cycle that out, but
I don't know, a different mindset.
yeah,
we've got
board.
yeah, for everybody. That's 100% true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you high school, sports, all that.
Mm-hmm.
You said college earlier. So what did we go to college for?
So I didn't know at first. I guess I probably partied a little too much my first couple years. But and then I started out in business, and then long story short, I moved to Lubbock and went to Texas Tech, and I decided I wanted to get into the health and wellness industry. So I set my major as basically KNES, but exercise and sports science, thinking I might have wanted to go into physical therapy. I did a 300-hour internship of that, and it wasn't for me. It was just too slow. So, but I got into, when I moved to Lubbock, my first job there was at a gym. And I think I started on a rock wall. I knew I wanted to be in a gym setting, right? So I just got my foot in the door, and I was like, what do you have available? They said, we have the rock wall. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. The most boring job I've ever done in my life. Until the kids got there, like, right? But I was there for 4 hours at a time, and I think it was like from 12 to 4, and the kids didn't show up till like 3:30. So when they got out of school. So for 3 hours, I was just sitting there, not doing anything, twiddling my thumbs.
Were you rock climbing?
They didn't let me rock climb much. So yeah, I just basically stood there. It was pretty boring. But it got me in the door, and I had to do that for a month. And then I met the head personal trainer there, and she was looking to grow her staff. And so got me a personal training certification, and then I started doing that. And so that was in 2010. So that's kind of what got me into the personal training. And then I realized it's possible to make just as much money as a physical therapist without the extra 3 or 4 years of school.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, let's go this route instead.
So did you drop out of college?
No, I finished my exercise and sports science degree. And then afterwards, let me back up a little bit. So my parents have always owned their own businesses. They've always worked for themselves. And so that's another thing that kind of, I guess, molded me into not ever really wanting to work for anyone else. So whenever, you work for someone else, and there's nothing wrong with it, the world's got to go around, and we have to have those people, but you don't necessarily have as much control over your time.
Yeah.
And I saw that whenever I did have jobs in college. And so after college, I opened my own personal training studio and was like, this is where I'm going to go, make my own hours. Thought it was going to be super easy. Sometimes it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah.
You end up working more than you probably would if you had a 9 to 5 job. But in the end, it ended up being worth it. So I moved out to East Texas, where my parents lived at the time, and opened that. And then I did that for 9 months, and hope that none of these people, I don't really keep in touch with them, but there was a lot of whiners with those people, with the personal training, with those people that I was training out in East Texas. And I was like, I just didn't like not being able to push people. So I jumped into a CrossFit gym there and started coaching that. And I was like, this is way more fun. People come here and they want to work hard, and they don't really whine as much. So I was like, I think I want to open a CrossFit gym. So I moved back to San Angelo. This was in 2013. Graduated from college in 2012. So kind of a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And I opened Tbone CrossFit in 2013. And yeah, so then from there, it's kind of just been a whirlwind ever since. And yeah.
Was it tricky the first year you were open here?
It was, but I'm from San Angelo originally, grew up right outside of San Angelo in Water Valley, America. And I knew so many people that I had a pretty good jump into my membership. So it was good enough, right? Found a real small area. It was right next to Donuttopia. And I was like, this is perfect. I send y'all right next door. Y'all get donuts, and then it's retention, right? You have to come back and work out the next day.
Yeah.
So it worked out for both of us. But it was lots of getting up early, going to the gym, no one showing up, because at that time I didn't have any like RSVP systems in place. But I mean, it was worth it. At the time I was single and didn't have anything to do. I just got up early every morning and went to the gym, and then finally ran into someone that he was a buddy of mine. His name was Jeremy Whitaker, and he was a couple years older. And he was like, just from personal experience, you need help. He goes, let me coach for you sometimes. If not, you're going to burn out real quick. And that was probably one of the greatest pieces of advice I could have gotten, because I would have definitely burned out real fast. I mean, when you're just coaching nonstop and up there all the time, it gets tiresome. And so he took on like 2 nights a week, and it helped a ton. So
what is one of the biggest things you've learned about yourself since having your own business?
Oh man, that's deep already. We're just getting started.
I know.
We're already getting deep.
I just want to know.
I would say it's evolved over time, right? Like, I can be tough when I want to be tough, and sometimes that's all you need to know is like, okay, things are getting tough. If I want to be tough and grit this out and work harder, I can. And so it's good to know that when things do get tough, and let's say memberships get down, I can find a way to make money in other areas in order to now provide for my family. And so I think that's kind of the biggest thing is like, I've learned that I do have grit when I want it, but I wouldn't necessarily say that I have it all the time.
Yeah.
But it's there if I need it.
How has the gym evolved?
So, it has evolved a lot, because when I first started, let's see, that was in 2013. So that's 12 years ago. Okay. So I was 24, 22, 24, somewhere in there. 24. So I was pretty fit and getting fitter. Like, I was just kind of getting into like competing with CrossFit, and I cared a lot about CrossFit, like just, all the movements, doing them correctly. Even if you are older, let's do all these movements, squat, snatch, things that may not necessarily help a 70-year-old person. But, it's great for a 24-year-old that wants to compete in CrossFit, right?
Yeah.
So I was a little more hardcore back then. And even like the next probably 5 years because I got to where I competed quite a bit and found a workout partner that we went and competed at some big stages and whatnot. But now it's come back 10 steps, and now it's more about, let's make everyone more fit to go out and do their daily lives, to go out and play with their kids, to go out and play with their grandkids. Like, I don't care if you can do this movement over here. The reason if you can't do this, we're going to do this instead. And this is going to be able to help you pick up your grandkid and put them on top of a tree. I literally just got a video of my parents are playing with my kids right now, and they're helping them climb trees. So things like that, it's all about making your life easier in the real world.
What do you think shifted that?
Probably kids, honestly. I've got a 5-year-old. It kind of started shifting maybe a little bit before that. But I would say probably whenever I had a kid is kind of when my competitiveness started going downhill a little bit as far as competing against everyone else. I'm always going to compete against my kids. That's the biggest reason that I'm going to stay in shape. I will always be able to beat them in a foot race for as long as possible, lift more than them.
Yeah.
But I would say that's probably when it started kind of going, okay, let's dial things back. And fitness is always evolving also, right? If you're not evolving, if you're not growing in one way or another, you're dying. So let's evolve a little bit and make this to where more people of a little bit older people can come in and still do this. I guess and also when I was 24, my average age of my members was 24, 26, that's probably my average age. Now I would say my average age is 45, 40.
That's awesome.
So, and as I've gotten older, you're battling some injuries here and there, but it's like you just be smarter, you learn how to take care of yourself, and I'm going to always take care of my people also. So that's kind of the biggest thing is like, let's take care of them so that, like I said, they can go out into the real world and have an easier life. We don't work out to make our lives in the real world harder. We work out to make it easier. So that's kind of, I would say, the biggest thing is just getting it easier for everyone else as they're aging, as we're aging, as I'm aging. I'm young. It's fine.
Does your body hurt?
No, honestly.
No.
I mean, do I get sore?
Yeah.
Crazy sore sometimes? Yeah, absolutely. But if you're not pushing yourself, you're not going to get sore. I'm pushing myself all the time. But I'm not miserably sore very often. If I take 5 or 6 days off, yeah, I get miserably sore. Yeah. But that's on me for taking 5 or 6 days off in a row. But I honestly, I mean, knock on wood, I haven't had any bad injuries recently. I'm a lot smarter. If something doesn't feel right, I don't push it. I change the movements. If my shoulders are not feeling good, instead of going overhead, I'll do push-ups. If that doesn't feel good, I'll do sit-ups. You know, it's okay to change movements as long as you're moving. I think that's the biggest thing. We've got to move. Everyone's got to move.
Absolutely.
So
what does your classes look like when people come to class now?
So everyone comes in, depending on which class it is. My morning classes, they take a little longer to get going. So I give them, 5 to 8 minutes to talk and stretch. They're supposed to stretch anyways, but sometimes they're just stretching them jaws. That's okay. A lot of them come there for socialization as well. So that's a great thing also. But we stretch for a little bit. We go through a warm up together. We go through our strength and conditioning piece, which some days it's more strength, some days it's more conditioning. Some people like one, some people like the other. It is what it is. And then we go through metabolic conditioning. So something that gets your heart rate up. It's more like just high intensity interval training. It's HIIT. Sometimes it's intervals, sometimes it's not. So the workouts could be anywhere from 4 minutes to, we had one this week that was 35 minutes, just nonstop. I like the longer ones now because you just go slower. It's like, okay, 35 minutes, I can just move for 35 minutes. The ones that are 4 minutes, you're like, oh gosh, I got to move fast for 4 minutes. Yeah. My heart rate's getting beat out of my chest. And so I've gotten to where I like the longer ones better. When I was younger, I didn't. I liked the short ones because they were over quick. But yeah, I've learned to pace a lot more nowadays. So I'm okay with that.
Okay, so what does your training look like for yourself now?
Honestly, I just jump in with the classes, and that's all I do. I see Brandon over there with huge arms, and so like I try to do some extra curls here and there, but for the most part, with where I'm at, with where my kids are, they just have a Mother's Day out, Dad's Day out, whatever you want to call it, from 9 to 1, and so like I try to get it in either early in the morning or while they're in school, and then because if they're at the gym, I never know if it's going to work out or not.
It's a wild card.
Yep, it is. It really is. I mean, sometimes they'll work out right beside me, and that's a lot of fun. I really enjoy that, especially because I get to slow down a little bit. I'm like, oh, hey, don't do that. Do this instead.
Yeah.
But now it's just all about staying in shape and being able to lift my kids, and I literally carry them both to bed like this every single night, and I'm like, this is like a med ball carry, like a heavy D-ball carry or a sandbag carry, but 2 of them. And so I'm like, I got to always be able to do that. So always be able to pick them up out of the bathtub, out of bed. And so I now train to be healthy and less about competitive. So
are there any CrossFit comps in your future?
Possibly, but right now, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But I've got buddies that have asked me, and my one good workout partner, Devin, he just had a kid a year ago, and before that he was like, why aren't you working out? Why are you not? And I'm like, dude, just wait till you have a kid. He's a little more MIA from the gym these days. Yeah. So he understands now. He's like, oh, I get it now. But so once you have kids, it just kind of changes your priorities a little bit. So I don't know, maybe, possibly. Right now, absolutely not.
Could be a possibility where you get to compete with your kids one day.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah, that is possible, because I mean, my 4-year-old, almost 5, can do like 5 strict pull-ups. We have him in gymnastics too, so he's doing like pullovers on the bar. He can do a skin the cat on the rings, unassisted. Like, he's gonna be a stud. Yeah,
that's so good for them.
It's fun. Oh yeah, it's so much fun. That's probably my favorite thing to watch him do is the gymnastics, just because it's something that I can watch him in his class, and then we can go to the gym and practice some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can do this, so you can do it too. And I think he likes that, because one time he's like, I don't want to do that. And I was like, I got up there and did a pullover. And he was like, oh, Dad, I want to try. And so then I helped him, and he got to where he could do it by himself. And so it's fun to watch him grow like that.
Good job. Okay, so let's get into, what does a day-to-day look like for you? So, like, what is your routine?
Okay, so it varies from day to day. I don't coach all my morning classes, but on my early days, I'm up at 4:20 in the morning, and then I'm at the gym by 5. Lots of coffee. And then I'm usually home by 7:30. My wife works from home, so that she gets to help with the kids some, but she's got to be at her computer like at 8. So I take the kids to school every day at 8:30, and Monday through Thursday. And then after that, I get back to the house, and most of the time, if I don't have a personal training client, then I'll go bounce back and forth between the gym and the house. And then I'll go back to the gym at noon, and kind of in between, I'll do some of the housework and things like that. If I've had a hard day, I'll sit my butt on the couch. If I'm exhausted, and I'll watch a show, and it's a little hour and a half downtime that I feel like I need because at noon at the gym, and then at 1:30 I pick up the kids, so it's like go straight there, and then it's just kind of dad duty for a little bit, and then I try to get them down for a nap. That's starting to change, less naps, and then I'm back to the gym sometimes in the afternoons from 4:30 to 6:30. Granted, I do have coaches that, like other days, I'll have coaches that coach in the morning, so I'll just have to go up a little bit later and go do some personal training, and then back to the house, get the kids, and then on the days that I have coaches in the evenings, then I get to hang out more with the family and cook dinner and things like that. So, but lately, this last week, every day that we got home from school, kids were like, I want to go outside and swing. And so we got them a swing set for Christmas. Santa did, not us. And yeah, we go out there for probably like 30 minutes where they just swing. And I'm like, they're about to fall asleep. I have to like keep talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, boys, don't fall asleep on that swing. You'll make me look bad here. Flip over backwards. So, but yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. It's a mix of dad duty and
work
kind of
life.
the gym. Yeah. So I'll bounce all over the place, it seems like.
So what time do you go to bed typically?
Oh, not as early as I need to. But we just recently started getting the kids to bed earlier, about 8:45 to 9. And I'm in bed as soon as that happens. Yeah. So we're in a bad habit of I'll shower with the kids, or all of us will shower together, and then we'll get in our bed for like 2 minutes to 5 minutes, and then I take them to bed. And that's just kind of what we do. And that's like 8:45 or 9. And then I'm back in bed, and then sometimes we'll get to wind down, and me and Haley can talk or watch TV for 45 minutes, an hour. And usually I try to get to sleep by 10 if I have to get up the next morning early. And if not, then sometimes it's 10:30 or 11. But
yeah.
So. Okay.
So what does your nutrition look like right now?
Oh, it's not good.
No.
Not right now. Not right now. It's not good at all. But I go through little spurts and waves of when I need to lose a little bit of weight or lean up. I always count my macros. Like, I can always fall back on that. And that's been the best thing for me and for everyone that I've worked with as well. Because when you are counting your macros, you know exactly what you're putting into your body. And if you are counting them correctly, it's like science from that point, right? Or math, however you want to look at it. Like, it's going to work out the way it's going to work out. So right now I'm in an off period. So I kind of know what I'm eating, and for the most part, like caloric wise, I'm not getting enough protein right now. But when I'm eating not as clean, I try to fast for a meal. And so it kind of helps me with my calories. So intermittent fast, but not religiously at all on that point. So, but right now, I'll skip breakfast, and then I'll eat lunch and dinner, or I'll skip lunch and have breakfast and dinner, things like that. But usually when I want to like perform better, or if I have a goal that I'm working up towards, then I'll eat pretty clean, and I'll hit my macros, 2,300, 2,400 calories a day, and my protein at 30%, carbs at 40, fat at 30.
What
So.
does that make the grams of protein for you?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. I don't keep track of that. My Fitness Pal, and it is, and like I said, I haven't, and it's always just like, I pay attention to where my chart is, my pie chart.
Yeah.
And so my percentage. So I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
Do you supplement any like proteins or anything like that?
Juice Plus has a protein that I use sometimes, but when I'm cutting, when I'm trying to like lean up, I would rather eat my food. So I don't even eat that because I'd rather eat egg whites or eggs, a mixture of that instead of doing a protein shake. But I really don't use any supplements or anything like that. Every now and then I'll get into a little kick where I'll do creatine periodically, but pretty much the only thing I put in my body is try to whole foods, sometimes fast foods.
Yeah.
And then the Juice Plus, and that's pretty much it.
All right. So what does fitness mean to you?
Fitness, longevity, just overall health, because fitness in my mind is not just being fit, but being able to pick up your grandkids whenever you get to that age. I feel like that's the most important thing in the world. Even though when we're younger, we think that competing is the most important thing in the world. But now that I've got kids and I see my parents with my kids, I'm like, that's the most important thing. You want to be able to run around with them when you're old. You want to be able to, whenever you are gray and wrinkly, still be able to pick them up over your head. And I feel like if you couldn't do that, then we're not fit. And so if you have that fitness, then that's what we want to be in our health in general. So,
is fitness ever mental for you?
Oh, 100%, yes. But for me, fitness is a non-negotiable. Working out is a non-negotiable. 4 times a week, 5 times a week. Like, I don't even have to think about it. I don't have to struggle with it. That's just, I guess because I've been doing it for so long now, I don't get worried about workouts. If I don't like a workout, I'll go slower. I'll lift less weight. It doesn't bother me. I guess because I've been doing it for so long, it's not even a thought in my mind. I'm just like, I'm doing it. That's what I'm doing. And especially when I write the workouts, if they're bad, I feel very obligated to do the workout. I'm like, oh, that looks really, really bad. I need to do it. But I see it be very mental for a lot of my clients, a lot of my members. And I think it's so many people, especially when they're younger or they're transitioning from being young to middle-aged or, and they start to have a shoulder issue that's bothering them and they don't want to scale back. And then it starts to become like, oh, well, I'm not going to go today because I can't do that movement. Instead of, I can't do that movement, so I'm going to still go. I'll do everything that I can and then change that movement out. So I think that's the biggest mental issue that I see in my gym. And then also just showing up. But pretty much everyone that comes to the gym, they say that's the hardest part, is just in the mornings, waking up and then going. Once you get there, it's easy, you're there. Yeah. So go through the motions and get it done.
Do you ever try and coach the mental?
Yes, especially in the middle of workouts. I can usually get people to do more reps than they want to or go faster than they want to, rest less than they want to. And I feel like that's probably a skill that I've acquired over the last 12, 14, 15 years that I've been personal training and training in the gym, is just that I can see when someone's slowing down because they actually need to or because they think that they need to. And if I feel like they just think that they need to, that I can usually get them to go a little bit more.
The mind's going to give up way quicker than the body is.
But I mean, even like your 100 wall balls and high rocks, right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't keep a running count in my head. I like math. So when I'm doing big sets, I'll go, okay, what's a very obtainable number for me? 10 for wall balls, okay? I can do 10. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 10. And then I'm going to count to 10 again, but I'm not going to put it down. And then I'm going to count to 10 again. And I'm like, okay, now I'm at 30. Okay, count to 10 again, And I just keep counting to 10. Once it gets hard, then I'm just going to do 5 more. Okay, do 5 more now. And so it's very mental, but we can always push ourselves to do more than we think we can.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Our bodies are capable of doing a lot more than we think we can. So.
Okay, is there anything else you would like to include in this first segment?
I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I don't know.
That's the point.
Y'all are probably like, oh, you could probably slow down now. So
No,
I mean, I mean, the gym is just, it's like my safe place. It's where I can go and work out and feel better about myself, no matter how I'm eating. I feel like that is one thing that like I'm like, okay, I'm not eating the best right now, so I definitely have to work out 5 times this week, 6 times this week, you know. And it doesn't just have to be in the gym. I've learned you can go for a walk, you can go for a jog. My favorite thing to do is run walk. So I'll run for 2 minutes, walk for 1 minute. And it can be anything, anywhere, as long as you're doing something and moving your body. It's going to help us all mentally. It's going to help ourselves. I've learned, for me, if I don't work out, I am not very much fun to be around. If I'm having a hard day or stressful day, if I don't work out, like I can be a bear. And then, like, just say in the mornings I'm grumpy, and then I'll work out at just say noon. Completely different person after I work out. So it's like, get that workout in, and those endorphins get going, and you become the better version of yourself. So everyone should work out, no matter how it is, and if we do, we are bringing out the best in ourselves.
Yeah. And that ripples too. It ripples off into your life, other people's life. So you can stay to be the grump the whole day, or you can do your workout and get a little bit more pep, and then it just like trickles out. And either way.
And then you rub off on someone, right? Do you want to rub off on someone and make someone else's day hard because you're grumpy? Or let's bring everyone else up around us. I think that's more important than anything.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, you guys, like I said earlier, leave us a comment in that comment section, and we are going to hop over to Deck of Cards. Are you looking to get stronger, faster, and feel unstoppable? Orange Theory Fitness is science-backed and coach-inspired, ready to get you fit, and guess what? Your first class is free. So hop on over to Orange Theory Fitness. They are located over by Nukes and Chick-fil-A. BS training for muscle growth. Alpha Progression is just the go-to app. You can track all of your workouts. You can put in the equipment that you have in your gym, see over a length of time if those workouts are working for you. And guess what? There is an algorithm that can also give you ideas. This app is 100% science-based. Learn from real personal trainers and bodybuilders. For 20% off, go to alphaprogression.com/everything and the gym. And we are back for Deck of Cards. Deck of Cards is sponsored by Crusaders Forge and Training from the Ground Up. Blue card.
Blue card, okay. If you could teach the world one concept, what would you teach? Golly. Right back into the deep stuff right away, huh?
Blue cards
they're deep,
real life,
huh? I would say a concept. I'm just going to say this may not be a concept, but just start. Like, no matter what it is, whether it's fitness or something else, take a leap, start, because you're not going to ever get anywhere unless you start, whether it's going into the other room. If you don't walk, take that first step, then you'll never get there. So I would say that'd be the thing I'd teach.
Nobody has said that one. And it's interesting to think about, because you are right with anything. And like, if more people knew that concept of just starting, we'd probably have a lot more like entrepreneurs and even gym goers or book readers. There's a lot of things that people want to do out there that if they just started. And it doesn't have to be anything big, just small steps. And that's what, but I feel like so many people, like for our gym, they're like, I got to get in shape before I go to that gym. No, you don't. Just show up. Just go. You know? I've started reading books on like how to flip a house. And I read and I read and I read. And I was like scared to start. And finally we did. And it's like, okay, all we had to do is start, you know? So take that first step. That's a good one. I would say grace, giving yourself grace. I'm going to bounce off of that, just start with the word grace, because there are going to be times where you start something, you start a new adventure, and then you're going to mess up.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fumble it
Mm-hmm.
quite a few times along the way. And so being able to just say, okay, I got to give myself grace with this one, but you got to keep going.
Yep, absolutely. Can't be
Yeah.
afraid of failure.
Yeah.
Because that's part of our lives, right? That's how we learn and grow.
Mm.
So,
Good one.
yeah.
Next one. If you woke up as a superhero, what does your outfit look like and what are your superpowers?
Oh my gosh. So, my wife literally asks me all the time, if you had a superpower, what would it be? And I'm just like, why would I don't need to know what I would think. And now you're asking me, and I have to answer this. So, I'm going to say teleporting is what I would have my superpower be. I could go anywhere, I could go play a golf course in St. Andrews and be back in time for dinner,
Yeah.
But if I'm late for work, I could just snap my fingers and be there. As far as my outfit, I couldn't even begin to tell you. I've got to wear a cape, I guess. Probably an eye mask to, hide my identity.
Yeah.
But I'll wear a hat too.
What color are you thinking?
For some reason, green, and maybe just because that card is green. But for some reason, that's literally what I'm envisioning myself, and also Captain Underpants, and it's kind of the way I'm looking at it too. So I don't know why that's so weird, but
Hey.
green Captain Underpants. Hat.
Be you.
That's it.
I would be a unitard, kind of like Kim Possible.
There you go.
And pink and green. And then I would like to be able to read people's minds. Just because I do think so many people are going through so many more things than what we even let on about ourselves.
Yeah.
And I just think the world needs a little more I know what this person's going through. Let me help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. As long as you couldn't read my mind right now, we're good. If you would have just visioned what my outfit looked like, it wouldn't have been good.
Pink
All
card.
right, pink card. What is your favorite lift? Okay. Lately, it's been whatever I'm lifting to eat into my mouth. So, no, back in the day, I would say any Olympic lift, like snatch or clean and jerk. Those were my favorites for sure. I'd probably say clean and jerk was more my favorite. Nowadays, I like power clean because I don't have to get quite as heavy, and I can still lift a decent amount. So, but yeah, I'd say that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the Olympic lifts.
I have been doing a lot more high rocks recently, and I've answered this question quite a few times. Back when we started season 4, I would have told you hex bar, but man, I'm loving burpees right now.
Yeah.
It's not so much a lift, but
I was
exercise
thinking
wise.
that's gymnastics. I love gymnastics.
Yeah.
I'm better at those than I am actual lifting. So
yeah, the burpees. We were talking earlier about the mental do 10 and then it's okay, now do 3 more and then do just a few more. That's what I've been playing with burpees, and it's lovely.
I've gone through waves in my life of sometimes I'm really good at burpees and I can do them quick and not stop, and other times I'm like, well, there was 3. I'm going to go ahead and bend over and take a break now.
Yeah.
And it literally I think it's a day-to-day basis.
If you don't train them, if you stop training them, it's so crazy. It's like that with anything in the fitness industry. You stop training it for a month or 2 and it's poof.
Yeah, it is. It for sure is. I had a coach that she did 30 burpees every day for an entire year. And I give her crap because she missed one day.
Yeah.
And she did double the extra. But I was like, hey, you didn't make it the whole year. So I tried to get her to do it again the next year. She was like, leave me alone. And she goes, it was leap year this year. So.
That's a cool goal.
But it was 30 burpees every single day for a whole year. That's pretty impressive.
All right. Maybe I'm going to switch to that sometime.
There you go.
Okay. What is the one skill that you believe is most important for your success in your field?
I'm going to say it's not necessarily in this field, but whenever I put my mind to something and I commit to it, I do it wholeheartedly, 100%. So if I tell you that I'm going to do 30 burpees every day for a year, I'll do it if I tell you that. I'd never committed to her to doing that because I knew I didn't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very big about like holding my word. And so if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I did 75 hard a couple of years ago, and I committed to it, and I said I was going to do it, and I did it. And it was hard. There was days that I didn't want to do it, but you make yourself do it because I said I was going to do it, and I was like, I'm going to hold myself to that standard. And so I feel like that can go with anything, though, not just necessarily fitness or anything, but if in business, if you tell someone you're going to do something, then you do it that way, and then they're going to hold a lot more respect for you, and they're going to believe you and know that you're going to come through. Mm-hmm. So I feel like being a reliable person can go a long ways in any field.
Yeah,
so
that's a great one. I would have to say communication. Me being able to sit across from multiple people, being able to communicate well and navigate conversations is definitely a skill that's a must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing great at it too.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, green card.
My turn. You are creating the ultimate sandwich. What goes on it?
What you putting on that sandwich?
Eggs.
Oh.
Bacon. Mayonnaise. Gotta have mayonnaise. And then I'm probably gonna put a burger on it too.
Oh.
I don't care if it's on a piece of bread, but my mom has recently got into sourdough making bread, so I haven't bought a loaf of bread in probably 6 months. That's been awesome. So definitely some of that bread, toasted. Yeah. That's what it's gotta. That's what it's gotta be. Lettuce, tomatoes.
Sounds amazing. Is the yolk like
a little bit runny? Not a lot, just a little bit, where it's gonna make a little bit of a mess, but not like can't touch this thing.
Yeah.
Have it running off your chin. I don't want it all the way down, but still a little bit runny.
Sounds delicious.
I'm getting hungry now.
I am going to go with an ice cream sandwich.
Oh, we're going that route. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to go.
I can get on board with that.
I'm going to say we're going to figure out how to make like the chocolate like wafers that are on the outside. But for some reason, like strawberry ice cream in the middle today sounds so good.
Yes.
Maybe even with like some actual like strawberries mixed in.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sold. That sounds like the perfect meal.
You bring the entree, I'll bring the dessert.
That's it. I like it. Yep. I'm in.
Is there anyone in the fitness community that you look up to, and why?
In our fitness community?
In any fitness
community. I'm going to say Justin and Jeremy Whitaker. Justin opened Odessa CrossFit maybe a year or two before I opened. And I Jeremy was the one that told me it's his brother. He's the one that told me to not burn myself out in coaching. And so I've always gone to them for advice on, what to do in certain situations, whether it was a good situation or a bad situation. I always called them and text them, and they would always get back to me. And so I think I've always looked up to them because they have a pretty successful business as well. Justin does in Odessa, and that's probably I look up to them a lot just because I know that they're doing it right, and they've expanded and gone to multiple locations and built their own location. And so it's just I've always been hey, this is what's going on. I'm sure this has happened for you. What would you do? And he's like, yep, happened to me 2 years ago. So I'd probably say him. I know that's kind of you wouldn't know who he is or anything.
It's okay.
But
it's good to have people like that across the board, no matter what you're working on.
Right. Somebody
to look up to. So
bounce ideas off of. So. Yeah,
I respect that. You'll know who this person is. Sarah Sigmund's daughter. She's probably one of the only people that I follow along through their content. Just something about the grit that she brings to the table, and me being on a high rocks journey, even though she's not high rocks, I don't know. I can just show up to my workout and be okay, if this person's able to put in the amount of work she's putting in while her body is felling her just about, that takes grit. And so if I can put pressures on me to pull the grit out of me, it's going to be a better,
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's amazing for sure.
Trains hard.
Look, you've got like a nice, pretty stack over there, and I've got mine all spread out everywhere. If you're OCD, I'm gonna drive you crazy.
Oh no,
because
that's
this
okay.
doesn't bother me at all.
That's all right.
Because now I don't know what color we're on.
We're on blue.
Okay, is it my turn?
It is your turn.
Okay. Are there areas in your life that you would like to improve? Always, 100%. Being a better dad. I mean, I don't feel like I'm a bad dad, but you could always be better.
Mm-hmm.
Being a better husband. I have a book that's right next to our nightstand that I'll read about how to be a better husband, just to grow closer to your wife. I told someone this the other day, though. I was like, anytime she makes me mad, I'm like, I'm not reading that tonight. You know? I like look over at her and I'm like, nope, putting that one back. I'm going to read something else tonight. But I think that just how to be a better person in general and, you know, a better leader. So I think it's basically all intrinsic and just I want to be a better person overall, you know, follow Jesus better, you know, be closer to him and lead my kids to know him on a personal level. So
I could get behind that one too. You're like all of us parents have a long journey ahead of us, and it's not going to be perfect, but I feel like there's always that drive like, oh, I could have done this better. I'm going to do this better the next time.
Yeah.
Definitely would like to improve in that area, but also just improving in my own like mental capacities, working towards gaining more knowledge. That way I can help others around me. Still very much like learning high rocks and what's the best way to teach this part of it, or even with the podcast.
Yeah.
Like the podcast is beautiful and it is growing so well right now, but I mean there's still areas where I could improve more. I don't know quite what that looks like, but I know they're there.
No, just keep rolling with it. It'll keep rolling, keep growing. So
every little day efforts help make it the bigger picture.
Yeah, so. I mean, that's what they say, you know, like you just little bitty steps, little bitty ways to get ourselves better over time. It makes a huge impact.
Yeah. All right. What TV show or movie would you wish to be in?
I don't know why this just popped in my head. I'm just going to tell you what just popped into my head. Boy Meets World.
Oh.
That literally, I have no idea. I haven't seen it in a long time, but...
Topanga.
Yeah. Hard eyes. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I have no idea why that just popped in my head. I haven't seen it or heard anything about it in a long time. But
that's a great one.
Yeah.
I have not thought about that show in so long.
I was addicted to it back in the day. So.
I am going to say One Tree Hill.
Okay.
I love One Tree Hill. I have watched all seasons many, many times and put me in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I've got to admit, I've never really watched it. My best friends used to watch it back in the day, but I just never, I don't know why I never watched it. I just never did.
I didn't watch it. It came out in 2003, and I didn't watch it until like 2013.
Yeah.
Yeah, and somebody had DVDs, and they were like, "Here, you should go watch this." And I was like, "Okay." And so I went through like all the DVDs, and then Netflix came out and Hulu came out, and I was like,
a little easier that way. Yeah. How life has gotten easier for us and more difficult at the same time.
We had to tell my daughter the other day about like CDs, and she was like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, "What a crazy concept to think that like."
Yeah.
They don't know.
Well, have you seen they have a deal that's like they put a kid, 8-10-year-old, and then a father or whatever right next to each other, and they put a divider, and they're like, okay, what would it look like if you were calling someone on the phone?
Yeah.
And, you know, the dad's like this, and the kid's like this, as his, you know, as a phone up like that, and like all the different things, you know, just if you were gonna research something on the computer, what would you do? The kid's like this, and the dad's like typing on a computer, you know,
it's gonna be completely different when they have kids too.
Yep. Wild. Yeah, things have changed for sure.
Yes.
What is your current split?
Workout split. Do you split it up?
No.
Nah.
Yeah, ours is just like constantly changing. We mainly squat on Mondays, but we'll do lunges on Wednesdays, and it just varies. Ours is just kind of sporadic and all over the place.
Full body almost.
Yeah, we do lots of legs all the time and upper body thrown in also. But it's just, yeah, it's kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that every day. So.
Do you have a specific day for muscle ups?
I haven't programmed muscle ups in a long time, and it's just because I don't have a whole lot of people that can do them, and so I try to program more towards what my people need and what they can do, and it gives them more motivation to come in and be like, okay, I can do that. If they see something that they absolutely can't do, sometimes some people, like I was talking about earlier, be like, oh, I'm not going to go today. And so I program some of the easier movements, and then if I see someone, I'm like, hey, that's way easy. Let's do this instead. Yeah. Let's go a little. So we'll scale up instead of scaling down.
Yeah. So. I am currently 3 days a week, at least something high rocks. I'm trying to, which is a lot of endurance, a lot of full body.
Yeah.
I try and do 2 days a week with like actual lifting. So we're doing some goblet squats or some bench press or some kind of building the strength up.
Yeah.
I'm slightly injured in my leg, and so I'm not running as much as I should be right now. But once that is like healed, one of those lifting days will probably be changed to actual like mileage running.
I got you. Yeah. Running, yay. Everybody loves that.
They say like when you're training for a high rocks, you should be going 20 to 25 miles a week. It's a lot of miles.
No thanks. Yeah, not my cup of tea.
What is your idea of perfect happiness?
Of perfect happiness?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, this is gonna sound dumb, but I feel like I'm living it. Like I'm pretty happy. Like love my wife, love my kids. That's I would say that's my purpose. Like is my family, right? Like that's literally what I live for. I never knew until I became a dad. I was like, that's my purpose. Like I'm put on this earth to be a dad, right? And I used to always joke when I was younger. I was like, they were like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, a stay-at-home dad. Come on. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? And I mean, I'm almost living that dream, right?
Yeah.
So I get to go to the gym and play with other people sometimes, and I get to hang out with my kids most of the time, and my wife makes all her money, and we're good to go. So
that's a good dream to chase, though.
Yeah, I'm not mad about it.
Playing you well.
Yeah, it is.
I have been asking this question since season 3, and so I have ran over a lot of different answers. And right now in my head, perfect happiness to me is hitting those bits of like fulfillment. And so there are going to be times like, for instance, you are getting to stay home with your kids or be a part of that. And there's going to be days where you're like, oh, this is it. And so you hit like that blip of perfect happiness, but you can't stay in that perfect happiness all day, all like throughout the week. Like there's going to be instances that happen that are going to like take that perfect happiness down just a notch. And so for right now, I think we work, and there's a moment, maybe it's daily, maybe it's multiple times a day, but you hit a moment and you're like, this is perfect. This is good happiness. And then, it goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
But a sense of fulfillment throughout the day or throughout the week.
Yeah, just, and probably not trying to chase perfection all the time.
Yeah.
And being happy with where you're at. And when you do get brought down back to earth, it's like, okay, we can get back up there again. So.
Yeah. You want chances to be able to hit that moment again.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Green card.
Green card, my turn. What is an adventure you would like to have before you die? It's kind of easy. Golf somewhere. I'd love to go to like Ireland or somewhere and go play golf for a week or so with a bunch of buddies and whatnot. I mean, I love my family and everything, but like golf is kind of my way to escape for 4 hours. My wife says 8 hours at a time, but it's usually just about 4 or 5 hours. And that's just kind of my way to like reset my mind. And okay, even though hard things are going on at the gym or in life, it's like I can tune it all out right now for these 4 hours and then go back and tackle those because I'm reset, right?
Yeah.
So I would love to go to like play golf somewhere.
Do you have like a dream course?
I mean, St. Andrews is amazing, but I really want, my father-in-law's big into golf, and I really want, before he gets too old, for us to go play, oh gosh, I don't know why I just took a play, in California, Pebble Beach, and there's like 3 courses right around there, and it's really expensive, but I've always joked, I'm like, oh, he can pay for it, and we'll just go. And
Yeah.
But, I mean, he would love to go play those, and we could go over there and play a couple of those courses, and I think that'd be fun to go do that, too.
Life is short. Hop on it.
Oh, that's on my dream board, is like play more golf courses in random locations, so not just around here. So.
Yeah. Back whenever I was 13, I went to Europe. I was there for an entire month, but we went to the Anne Frank house.
Okay.
And it's in Amsterdam, and I have said since I got back from that trip that I want to go back as an adult, because when you're 13, you don't fully grasp the full picture. And so since then, I've read like multiple books about it, even as like an adult. And so it's something that I would like to go back and go to before I die, just so I can be like, okay, I was here as a kid. Now I'm here as an adult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. All right.
I think we're on pink.
We're on pink, and probably our last card.
Okay. Better make it a good one.
What is one exercise that you avoid? Do you have any that you avoid?
I mean, I do and I don't. You know, like, I think power snatches at 95 pounds lately has been what I've been avoiding, just because it's just like that weight that it just hurts me. It's like I can do it. I know I can do string 10, 15 together if I need to, but it hurts me more, so I try to avoid it more. And so I haven't even been programming it as often. I notice that sometimes when I look back over the past like month or month and a half, and I'm like, oh gosh, we haven't been doing this much. I must be avoiding it intrinsically. It's like, you know, I won't vocalize it. I'm like, oh no, I don't mind that, but I haven't programmed it in the past 6 weeks, so obviously I'm hiding from it somehow.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the only one, really. I mean, and then long distance running.
Yeah.
But
we're gonna have to snatch you up sometime. Take you for a run.
I don't mind it. I can do it. I did a half marathon last year. I got suckered into it by one of our friends. She's like a little sister to me, and she's like, hey, let's do a half marathon. It starts in 5 weeks. And I was like, what? Why? That's not much time. And she caught me on a good day. And yeah, we ended up doing it.
How did you feel throughout that?
So I went on a training run like a week and a half before, like a 10-miler. And it was kind of early in the morning. It was like, so this was like last July, I think. So it was hot. Yeah. So it was early morning, and it was one day that like the high was like 70. 75. I don't know. Or that morning it was, like when I ran. And it was great. My 10 miles felt great. I ran a good pace. I was like, oh, this is not going to be that bad. Well, fast forward to race day, it was way hotter. It was right by the lake. It was a little lake in DFW area. And it was humid. I sweat way more. And, I mean, I survived it. I got it just under 2 hours. That was kind of like my small goal. I was like, I don't really care if I don't. And, you know, I went back and forth with myself through all I was running. I was like, oh, I'm going to go under 2 hours. And then I was like, I don't care anymore. It doesn't matter. And then, I ended up getting like 1 hour, 59 minutes, 45 seconds. The last mile was rough. But yeah, so I can do it. I just don't enjoy it that much.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Hey, now you can say you've done it. I answer this question all the time, and I still have not done barbell squats.
Really?
I don't know. I know that they're probably coming back. They'll be back in my future, especially like working out at peak. I know they're coming.
Yeah.
I just, something about the bar.
On your back?
On my back.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then like whenever I do front squats, like, I don't know, my wrist I know it's excuses.
Yeah, we've all got them.
But no, barbell squats, I steer clear of them right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start light. I gotta just start with none. It's fine.
It's okay. All right, you guys, we are going to cut to a break and we'll be back. Giving a special shout out to our sponsor, Maximus Nutrition. If you are looking to boost your workout, whether that be, toning up or adding in that bulk, they can help you out with all the shakes, all the creatine, and all the protein, and so much more. You can find them over on Sunset Drive and Knickerbocker. Be sure to hit them up. And we are back. I'm going to ask you 4 questions that I ask every single guest. My first one is, what is your biggest struggle?
My biggest struggle, and that changes from day to day, period to period in our lives, right? But I would say right now, it's probably staying focused. Social media it's hard, right? Like, it's so great in some aspects as long as we're taking in content that is helpful to us, like your podcast, But I mean, things like that we're actually growing from and learning and bettering ourselves. But then there's so much that we just get into like that mind trap of just swiping, and like that, it drives me crazy. We did a challenge at the gym a while back, and one of the last weeks, it was like, okay, let's take out one bad habit from your life just for the week, right? And mine was social media. I was like, I'm going to allow myself 5 minutes a day because I got to answer messages and things like that. But like, I put a timer on it. It's like 5 minutes at the most per day. Oh, I loved it. I literally loved it. But I caught myself so many times just grab my phone and like open up Instagram or Facebook. And I'm like, oh, nope, put that down. It's become habitual for us, and I know it's worse with the younger generation, and how much time that they're actually spending on their phones. So that's whenever I'm not around my phone and I'm actually like reading a book, and I prefer to actually read a paper book, right? My wife is on her Kindle, and that's fine, that's great, but for me, I'm like, no, I want paperback, hardback, whatever. I want to actually flip the page and feel disconnected from my phone or any kind of electronics while I'm reading a book. But yeah, I'll just say just staying focused, and then, going after my goals. And my goals are so sporadic and all over the place, right? And like fitness goals and life goals and trying to, hustle and make money and things like that. It's like if I could just really stay more focused every single day. And there's days that I'm like, oh, I'm going to get this today. I'm going to check off my list. I'm going to be more productive. And then there's days that, and it's how life is. But there's days that, I'm beat down and I'm tired, and I'm like, I'm going to sit on the couch today and for an hour and relax for a second before I get back to it. But I'd say focus has kind of been my biggest struggle lately.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
All right. What is something that you have done that you are proud of?
I'm going to circle back to my kids. I mean, that's probably the most proud that I've ever been, just like being a dad and just like getting to having the lifestyle that I have and the jobs that I have. And I say jobs because I don't feel like they're jobs, right? I love what I do, and I love working with people, but I love my schedule. I love being able to take them to school every morning, pick them up from school every day, and then push them on the swing for 30 minutes. Like, I'd say that's what I'm most proud of, is like still being able to help provide for my family, but also my schedule being as relaxed as it is so that I can spend that quality time with them and help mold them into my goal as entrepreneurs, right? Like, if that's what they want to do, obviously, but I'm going to show them that they can create their own schedule and you can make your own money. And so
something a lot of people wish they had the ability to be able to do that.
Yeah. And so I'm very blessed in that matter, and also just lucky that, I mean, they don't always feel lucky whenever I get onto them or whatnot, but yeah, it's just, I feel like I'm very lucky to be able to spend that much time with them.
Yeah. All right. My next question. If you could give anybody honorable mention, who would it be and why? Doesn't have to be fitness. It could be anybody in life.
Yeah. My wife, I mean, she's obviously the backbone of our family and like supports me with all of my crazy ideas. She's the stable one, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna work, I'm safe. Okay, now you go do all your crazy things, and you want to take risks. I'm like, let's throw all our money at this and see if it works out. And she's like, I don't think so, but okay, she supports me. So, but then also like my parents, they lived in East Texas. They were going to build a house, and we told them we were pregnant. They sold their house in a month and moved back to San Angelo. They're like, we're not going to miss out on that. So they've been in San Angelo since before our first was born. And having a kid, it's definitely, it takes a tribe, and they do so much with the kids, and they help with the kids, and literally we can go out of town anytime we want. Just feel like, hey, here, we trust them with everything, and they are my biggest supporter. Like, they do anything and everything for me. They support me, they believe in me, and it's been like I said, it was like a fairy tale growing up, right? Because it was picture perfect family. I mean, we all have our flaws and whatnot and hardships, but I was very blessed and very lucky that I still have them in my life, and they're still supporting us, and I can still go to them and be like, yeah, Tyler, that's not very smart. You're dumb, or they're like, yeah, go for it. Take a leap.
Yeah.
So go for it. But yeah, I would say just my family. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. My last question for you is, if you could give advice to anybody listening, whether it be fitness or life advice, what would you say?
Don't be scared of failure, because we're going to fail, and then you're going to learn, and from there you're going to grow. So don't be scared to take that first step, take that leap of faith, and chase after your dreams, because if we don't take that first step, if we don't take that leap, we'll never get where we really want to go. So I would say that's the biggest thing, is just chase your dreams and don't be afraid of failure. So
good, you guys. Is there anything else you'd like to throw in before we wrap it up?
No, I appreciate you having me, and yeah, it's been fun. You're easy to talk to, so it made it not too stressful or anything. So I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna make myself look like an idiot, especially after Brandon. He's so smart, I was like, gosh, this is gonna have Tyler on here and just like not have any of the scientific or.
I just find that each human has a different reason.
Yeah.
We all have a different reason of fitness. We all have a different reason of life, and we oftentimes as humans don't realize that.
Yeah.
And so I think I'm just now learning in season 4 that every person I've had sit across from me, their story is completely different.
Yeah.
And they bring something completely different to the table.
Right.
So
we're all unique.
Yes.
We all have our own story, right? So
yeah. Oh, all right, you guys. That concludes this episode. Again, if you haven't commented, you should really comment. But special shout out to our sponsors, Training from the Ground Up, Crusaders Forge, Orange Theory Fitness, and Maximus Nutrition. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Instagram. And have a beautiful day, friends. Bye. Hey, you guys, we wanted to give one last shout out to Maximus Nutrition for helping make this podcast possible. Go hit them up for one of their delicious shakes. My favorite is coconut cream pie. They can hook you up with all of your protein needs too. You can find them on Sunset Drive and Knickerbocker. Go crush the day, you guys.